From Creamer Media in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report. An increase in intergovernmental commitments and stakeholder coordination is required to mitigate the ongoing pollution that plagues the Hartbeespoort Dam and other polluted dams and rivers across South Africa. Natasha Odendahl has the story.
From biological remediation and piloting nanobubble technology, Magalies Water has, over the past 2 years, progressed its 3-year rehabilitation program to mitigate the persistent hyacinth and algae currently overwhelming the Hartbeespoort Dam. The ongoing pollution, which is feeding these invasive plants, has mostly been attributed to rapid urbanization that has led to increased solid waste and wastewater discharges entering the upstream of the dam from the municipal wastewater treatment works. While progress has been made, more needs to be done to ensure that ongoing pollution is curbed to prevent these outbreaks at the Hartbeespoort Dam and other critical dams and rivers across South Africa.
The crisis in terms of pollution really comes from where municipalities, one, clearly they don't have qualified people who are working at their various plants. Secondly, there isn't any operation and maintenance that is being undertaken. And third, I don't think they don't feel the need for accountability. And that for me is heartbreaking. As a department, of course, as I've indicated earlier, we now have to be at the forefront of taking action in terms of whether it is through amendments to our existing legislation, whether it's through our regulatory process of taking action against municipalities, in terms of opening criminal cases against them, or whatever. But we have to do those things, because at the end of the day, if we don't do those things, we are also neglecting our responsibility as a regulator of water and sanitation infrastructure.
Inadequate municipal management is not the only cause. Municipal bylaws need to be implemented to curb the problem of pollution caused by littering and chemical spillage from industrial companies as well as agricultural runoff.
Apart from the collapsing municipalities, I think there's also an element of communities just really not understanding. There's a lack of civic education in as far as what is our relationship as communities with water. What is our relationship with waste management, for example? And all of those, unfortunately, will always go back to municipalities. First of all, our municipalities implementing their bylaws in as far as making sure that they don't allow people to, settle in riverbanks, for example. They do not allow people to illegally connect into networks, water, sanitation, or even electricity for that matter. Our municipalities taking decisive action in making sure that they address the issues of lawlessness at a local level. And all of these things will always go down to municipalities, because they are the ones at a grassroots level and recognize and understand through the constitution what their developmental mandate is and should be, as far as me and you are concerned, because they are the ones who give us these services. Of course, we can talk about services that are rendered by province and national, but at this point in time, the crisis that we are facing is predominantly and mainly caused by municipalities. Of course, this does not take away from the fact that there are municipalities who are also discharging. There's agricultural runoff that is also polluting, and in other industries that also pollute.
The Department of Water and Sanitation has increased its efforts to not only provide assistance to municipalities, but also to introduce a polluter pays framework and amendments to key water acts to enable improved performance by water services authorities. The solution will also come about through increased stakeholder and intergovernmental coordination.
As a department, we've made a commitment to say we're focused enough now on this issue of municipalities, and we know that the issues are not going to be resolved overnight. But if we do take ourselves seriously enough, we have to be in a position where we begin to implement the polluter pay principle, so that we know, that people know and understand the repercussions of polluting. And we need to be hard-handed in that. We need to be unapologetic. We've got our partners, of course, in DFFE, we've got our partners in COCTA, we've got our partners, of course, in mineral resources, and we've got our partners as well in terms of human settlement. All of these departments, if we do not come together in an intergovernmental way, we will be unable to resolve a large number of issues that persist at a local level. The fact that there isn't that coordination, not only amongst stakeholders that need to address the issues in our dams, but us as government, I think we're going to find it very difficult to implement the reforms as included in Operation Vulindlela 2.0 or that are included in the medium-term development plan. So if there is no coordination, if there is no relationship amongst us as government departments, we will not achieve anything.
That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insights into South Africa's real economy. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Engineering News daily email newsletter.